is the Retirement Mentality, a place where I want to change your mentality about retirement, about retiring early, how to get there, investing, and getting out of the daily grind as fast as you can, because the FIRE movement is everywhere these days. It's 2023, and after everybody sat at home, they realized when everybody was forced to sit at home, they all realized they didn't want to go back to work. So I think the FIRE movement is more popular than ever right now. And I noticed a trend. A lot of the people who are the YouTubers and the bloggers and the people talking about it are on the road to FIRE. They're on the path to FIRE. They're trying to get to barista FIRE or one of these other things. And they haven't actually hit FI. They haven't hit the financial independence part yet, let alone the retire early part. And getting to the FI part is hard enough, but then transitioning from financial independence into actually retiring, into not having income coming in, into having nothing to do with your day, that is a really big transition, and it's harder than you think. Most people think you just hit FI, boom, magic happens, and you just quit and you're done and you sit on the beach. But I'm here to tell you that it's not that easy. I hit financial independence about 5-6 years ago, and I tried sitting on the Caribbean beach. I moved to the Virgin Islands. I had nothing to do. I sat on the beach. That's why I started this YouTube channel. I got so bored. I started this YouTube channel, and I started my other one called How to Beach. Go ahead, check that one out. If you want to just see stuff about beach life, beach products, that kind of thing, go head over and check out that channel. But you get bored sitting. The dream, everybody thinks the dream of sitting on the beach is the ultimate goal. I did it. It's not what it's cracked up to be, especially if you're an entrepreneur mind like myself. Your brain doesn't turn off. You're always coming up with new ideas. You know, maybe some of the people who just have a crappy job that sit in a cubicle their whole life, maybe they can actually transition to sitting on a beach all day long. But for those of us who, like I say, have an entrepreneurial type of mind, it just does not work. You get bored and you need stuff to do to fill the day. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 things that are the sort of the challenges of getting from FI to the retire early part, or what I like to call recreational employment, because I found that I still like to make money. I don't want to have to get up and go to work every day. I don't want to have to report to somebody, but I still like having some money coming in, and I like to have something fun to do. That's why I call it recreational employment. So here's 5 struggles of getting from the FI to the RE part. Let's do it right now.
Shut up and sit down.
Okay, number 1 is knowing when enough is enough. I've done whole videos just on this subject, but I'm going to give you the condensed version for this little video here. And I think most people are calculating their FIRE number, their retirement number, their retirement goals. I think they're doing it all backwards. Most people say they want to save $1 million and then live off the 4% rule. So that's $40,000 a year. And then they try to fit their life in retirement into this $40,000 per year life. And if you're making $80,000 or $100,000 a year working, you're not going to be very happy living off of $40,000. So, okay, let's say you save $2.5 million and you fit your life into this. My point is, you're not going to spend the same. Your life isn't going to look the same in retirement as it does when you're working. You got to fill your days with other things, and they're going to be spending money instead of making money. So I think you have to figure out what your life looks like and then calculate the numbers of how you have enough money to pay for that lifestyle, instead of figuring out how much money you're going to have and then cramming your lifestyle into that number. I hope that makes sense. So that actually takes me to number 2, which is knowing what your day is going to look like in retirement. Like I said, you're going from earning money to spending money, and you also have 8 hours of your day, plus maybe 2 hours of commute time. Basically, your whole day you had where you went to work and you weren't spending money. Now you've got all that time on your hands to do nothing, and doing nothing sucks. So you got to do something. So you either got to figure out things to do for free, go for a hike in the woods, go sit on the beach, go volunteer somewhere, I don't know, or you're going to be spending money. Are you going to go golfing every day? Well, golfing is expensive. Are you going to go fishing? Are you going to have a boat? Boats are expensive. Are you going to have girlfriends you go out with to lunch every day? Well, that gets expensive. So all these things where you used to be not spending money, all this time in your day, now is filled with the opportunity to spend money. So you've got to figure out what you want your days to look like. And that's going to be part of how you calculate this formula that I just talked about in number 1 on how much money you're going to actually need to retire. And number 3 are your friends. These people that you want to go have lunch with, or go shopping with, or play golf with, or go fishing with. Because doing all these things by yourself just isn't very fun. But the problem is if you retire early, most of your friends probably weren't on that journey with you. So they got to still go to work every day. So I'm not going to say you won't have the same friends. You can keep the same friends and you can hang out with them in the evenings and on the weekends, but all day, all week long, you got to have somebody to hang out with. So you got to figure out who your friends are going to be, who you're going to hang out with. What are your activities going to be? Are you going to play pickleball? Pickleball is a good way to, I think you can show up at the pickleball court and meet new people. And that's a pretty inexpensive one too. So you got to think of things like that. How are you going to meet people? How are you going to make new friends? And how is that going to translate to the activities that you want to do in retirement? Maybe your spouse is the person you want to hang out with all day, which takes me to number 4, your spouse, your significant other, your partner, whatever they may be, whatever you call them, they may not be ready to retire at the same time as you. My spouse is 8 years younger than me. And when I was ready to quit working, she didn't want to. She still wanted to work. She still found fulfillment in her job and she still wanted to go to work. She was a teacher and she got great fulfillment teaching those little kids and molding their minds into our future rulers of the world. So she didn't want to retire. So that made me, have to find somebody else to go hang out with and how to fill my time with. And it forced me to kind of find new friends and figure that out too. Because if you both retire at the same time, that's great. And you have your best friend to go hang out with, but that's not always the case. Which takes me to number 5, going from making money to spending money. This is the hardest one of all. And if you and your spouse both retire at the same time, it's twice as bad because you went from 2 incomes to no incomes to spending money. When we did it and I sort of retired and the wife still had money, it didn't feel as scary because she still had money coming in. At first, I found that I still wanted to work and have money coming in, which I do now. But in the beginning, I didn't. And it was just her income, which sort of took a little bit of the pressure off of me to think that I needed to have income coming in because we knew, we have our real estate that was paying us and she had her job that was paying us. So everything was fine. But I think if both of us would have retired at the same time, it would have been more pressure, more anxiety, more stress of did we figure out the question we had in number 1? How do we figure out when enough is enough? And when you go from just like 2 people earning to no people earning and only spending, it's just, I tell you, I've crunched the numbers of when enough is enough about 1,000 times and figuring that out is really hard. And transitioning from income to no income, it's a big deal. And your brain just has a really hard time to figure that out. So these are my 5 ideas on the struggle going from the financial independence to the retire early. I think recreational employment will take some of that edge off of there. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. What are your struggles? Have you done it? What do you see being a struggle? And please give me a thumbs up if you got any value out of this. And if you haven't subscribed, do that. Hit the subscribe button down there. If you want to see a little bit more about why we left the Caribbean, we lived in the Virgin Islands and moved back to Florida, go watch this video over here. I did a whole video on why we left there and moved back to Florida. Might be interesting to you, so go check that one out. And I will see you in the next one.